So I was going to these places and saying, hey, look, I bring something different. I bring something new through social media, through just pure hard work and effort because I'm hungry. I've got 3 kids to feed and they're hungry. So, but I met with some folks and they actually drove all the way up to Madison. They were living in Madison. They had a home here and showed up on the front step, told them I felt like I could sell their home. And yesterday we finally got it sold. It was an incredible process. There was some blood, sweat, and tears involved in it, but it's always good to see those good folks move to that next phase.
Awesome. Was it the? I think I've heard of that story before. Even before we actually worked together, I heard through the grapevine about how you actually how you got that listing and everything, and that was to me was a inspiring story. I don't know if it's something you want to share about it. I think it's the same one.
Well,
was it because he saw that something to do with the effort that he saw and that you went through just to reach out to him?
I'd driven all the way up to Madison. I looked up on the tax assessments, found out where they lived because there was a vacant home, a beautiful home. I told my wife, if we had the money right then, I would have bought it. And I was actually considering it for a little while, but a good family came through and ended up buying it. But I drove up to Madison, met him on the front steps, and I actually ended up knowing the guy from before, from my prior job in law enforcement. All good things, of course. And,
yeah, that's usually not something that, for anyone I knew in law enforcement was
he's a doctor, so he actually helps. He helped with he did some treatment on the patients, the inmates there, taking care of them. But they were impressed by the fact that I went from Coleman all the way up to Madison. I took that extra effort and I showed up on their doorstep. And then the wife, she actually truly believed. She said to me many times that I was God sent. She said that this God sent you to our doorsteps to sell our home because nobody else could do it. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's pretty powerful when you've got that behind you. And that's incredible people. And I was glad to see them be able to close out that chapter in their life and to see a young family with 2, soon to be 3 kids. They're going to enjoy that house, enjoy that. Man, it's just a beautiful place down there.
Absolutely, and it should be a testament to a lot of people who are in different industries and everything. I actually was talking to a different salesman yesterday going through a coaching session, and he's not from here, you're not from here, I'm not from here.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who are from here, they lean on their connections and things like that.
The network,
and if you don't have those, it becomes disheartening. And that's something that both of us talked about, me and that salesman, about just through pure effort, you can break through the barriers.
That's
and
right.
You have to actually outwork everybody else and show them you want their business because you're dealing with people who have familial connections who necessarily take it for granted. Not necessarily familiar, but just from relationship standpoint, that they just think just because we're related, you should automatically use me and go about it that way. And that's not necessarily the best case on it all. You can actually break through that by doing a great job, by bringing exceptional service, by bringing more effort to what you do on a daily basis.
That's exactly right. That's been the biggest thing for me from the beginning is I wanted to be seen as a full-time professional agent, somebody that will do whatever it takes to get your home sold. And I mean, in this case, I held a few opens there. We had done all sorts of advertising, marketing. We put it in a couple of different MLSs, tried everything possible. And it was just through consistency and not giving up that we ended up getting that place sold. It was something that if you ask most agents, they would, of course, any open house, they think it doesn't work. But actually an open house on a Tuesday afternoon from 10 to 2, those folks said, we've been looking at this house for a little while, never really wanted to go in it, didn't want to waste anybody's time. They walked through, absolutely loved the house, ended up getting another offer on it. So that's pretty big to think that something most people would have struck out and said, no, there's no way that'll work. We ended up making it happen. So sometimes it's the little things that work. I told you about a story when I was actually putting flyers out at Dollar General for one of my listings because it was in a fairly remote area. I had somebody see that flyer, tell their brother-in-law and sister that house was for sale. That deal ended up not working out, but that buyer actually bought a house about 2.5 times the price. I had the listing on that too, so you never know what it's going to be that actually gets that sale. And that's what we believe in doing everything. It's not just social media. It's not just advertising through WKUL, wherever we might be. It's the whole package.
You have to be seen in anywhere as possible. I mean, that's the key. Social media is just one digital space.
Yep.
It's a big space. I'm not going to take anything.
There's a lot of eyes on it.
There's a lot of eyes on it, but it's about taking all spaces. whether that's in radio, whether that's in roadside or whatever. Now, there's some avenues of spaces that I think is a waste of space.
I disagree. That there's a purpose for every one of them. You know, you never know where that one person's going to come from, but you've got to really look and see what the cost is.
Exactly. You got to prioritize what space is really worth it.
With unlimited funds, I'd advertise everywhere, but unfortunately, I don't have unlimited.
And even with unlimited funds, there's a few places that I think that I would rather invest a little more in. Of course, you know, that's getting into a little bit of my world on that stuff. You know, just seeing the breakdown on where most of the monies is coming from, and it's through media. It's through more of an interactive media. Is still today is still one of the better place to go, whether that's in radio, television, social media.
I agree, absolutely. So we had a big Blumenfest blowout. I don't know if you guys saw our stuff on social media, on our signs everywhere. I think we had a total of 70 signs, something like 170 balloons or something like that. So, I mean, we're putting ourselves out there. There were a lot of other local companies taking advantage of that as well. And I think that's huge because Blumenfest is a great time to showcase Coleman. It's a great time to show how great a homes we have, to show the great people. There was tons of vendors that came in. I really enjoyed the Blumenfest. You know, you had some companies advertising there, and I don't know. It's a great time. I think there was 10,000 people that came through. Usually it's about that many. I mean, it's 278 was lined up. There was tons of cars coming and going, and we ended up having 4 on Saturday and 5 on Sunday. No, that's right. So 9 open houses we had going on. We had a lot of people come through. We had some new construction with Silva Enterprises come out. 2 brand new listings. So you guys need to take a look at those. But, you know, it was a good time all in all. I actually brought some folks that were from Hartselle, from Madison, from Huntsville, from Decatur. They came down and helped me with the open houses because I'm only one man. And they loved it. I mean, they fell in love with the town. So it was a great experience. You know, we're going to hit representation on the other side.
Well, I want to add a little bit on that, too, before we cut to the break on it all. It was a fun day on Sunday because me and Richard just did a mad dash.
That's right.
It
was fun.
That we were just like, hey, we got to go to each individual house and just showcase each property for other people out there. So it was a little rainy, it was a little wet.
It was.
And Richard, you know, got to commend him on his parking job on the side of the road right next to a mud hill. Anyway, so as we were walking, Richard starts kind of jogging a little bit. He's like, "Come on, Dominic, let's go." And I was like, "Man, I'm holding all this equipment." And I was like, "The last thing I'm going to do is run and fall with all this stuff." So at a snail's pace walking up to Richard's to get into Richard's truck, I step on that little mud hill. And I wiped out. I'm talking, I was covered in mud on everything. I couldn't do nothing except laugh. And there were people inside the open house just watching me out there, and they're laughing too. And then Richard just was like, I'll see Richard just like, where'd he go?
He just kind of dropped out of the picture. But if you guys are looking to buy or sell a home, you can always give me a call, 256-708-1511. We're always trying to help good people get to a better place.
The right side has been getting static. Yeah. Don't know if it's just on our end or what.
Hey, what is that off of WKO?
No, that's off of you.
I couldn't find it on my feed. Don't know.
Should be you. 6 watching. Tommy Todd. Strawberry Fest is going to be huge this year too.
Yes, I mean it's not showing on mine.
You gotta look at yourself. I mean, I'll put it on there. It's just you.
Pops up.
Okay.
This guy. Hey, Tommy, I appreciate it, brother. I didn't have it pulled up. I'm here.
Let me raise this a little.
Chris, thank you, man. I appreciate y'all watching.
See if I can get this up a little higher.
Talk a little bit about representation next. Hey, Tommy, I need to holler at you, too. We're supposed to get you with a coaching session with Dominic on your social media stuff, so...
Still getting it?
Good. Yeah, I do think Strawberry Fest is going to be huge. They're bringing in some big names, so. Some of that old 90s stuff. I can't think of the name right off. I might be able to look it up. I saw it in an article. Hey everybody, Richard Nace here with Weichert Realtors and Space Place in segment 2 of the Real Estate Rundown. Dominic Gill is in the studio with me. We were talking a little bit about the Blumenfest blowout. about open houses, about Eve 6. Yeah, that's who it was.
Eve 6?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah, from Strawberry Fest.
Oh my gosh.
So we're
So
also
shout out to Tommy
streaming.
Todd for letting me know
That's
that.
right. We're also streaming from Facebook Live. We had a comment talking about the Strawberry Fest, which is going to be a huge event. I'm going to get the dates on that. I think it's early May, isn't it?
I believe
we'll get
so.
Ron to get us those events. So, but Eve 6 is going to be playing. But we're talking about the Dr. Lyrene story and how we connected and how we end up closing out their house and on Monday. And man, that was big for me. I had a little bit of a it was bittersweet. I love that house and I want to buy it. I wanted to get that house myself, but it wasn't quite the right timing. But you have that sometimes. You
Yeah.
fall in love with the house, and sometimes if you're not careful, you can let it affect the valuation of it too. But I felt like we had it priced pretty well. Actually, I had the appraiser call me and say, "This is a great home with great square footage. Somebody's getting a good deal on this place." So it's a great home. But we want to talk a little bit about representation.
Yes.
A lot of folks really don't know how agents can represent. We've had several radio shows and Facebook Live sessions concerning that, and representation can be in a lot of ways. The most basic on the seller side is that you're representing them as an agent. I've got a bunch of folks jumping on here, text messaging me, calling me, got appraisers calling me. It's going to be a busy afternoon, I can already tell.
Yep.
But on the seller side, you can work in a couple different ways. Just as their agent, you can actually represent them and solely them, and what that does is that keeps the agent from representing the buyer.
Right.
So they would represent the buyer as a transaction broker, which means they basically do the paperwork, but they're only looking out for the goodwill of the seller. And that's
Right. And in representation, the role of representation means that you form a fiduciary duty
That's right.
to your client, which means you're going to look out for their best interest as if they were your own,
Yeah,
and
regardless.
actually above your own
That's
best
right.
interest in the transaction.
That's right. So agents out there are not looking at their commission in that sense. They're actually representing you fully with fiduciary interest. You also have that sort of agency with attorneys.
Yes.
You have client
Well,
privilege.
any agency has fiduciary duty.
Right.
The definition of agency entails the fiduciary duty inside of that.
Right. And with fiduciary duty, I mean, with the transaction broker, that's not necessarily the case.
No, that's
So it's
Now they
got to be
can't-
actually agency, either buyer agent or being the seller's agent. But you also have limited consensual dual agency, which
Right.
means that the agent represents both sides, and they're not going to give an advantage to one or the other.
because of them representing each side to follow their best interest. The best interest of both parties is to not give them advice because of they're supposed to go and reveal any kind of information that may give one side an advantage,
That's right.
which would be a violation of their fiduciary duty to one party. Either way, they would
In the
go on
limited
that.
consensual rule.
In the limited consensual rule,
But if
yes.
you're a buyer's agent and you find that information that can help the position of your client, you're required to do that. Because
Absolutely.
that's the whole goal of having the representation, and that's what's important to make sure that you have somebody representing you that's skilled and also has market knowledge and understands the whole role. Because agents work together and they want to keep a clear and functional relationship.
Mhm.
But sometimes you've got to play hardball with other agents, and you don't want an agent that's going to be pushed over. You don't want somebody that's just going to give in. Man, I got all sorts of folks calling me. Collin, Mississippi. Goodness gracious.
Absolutely.
I don't know who's calling me from Mississippi, but
Yeah, it's probably who is it? Heather, who keeps calling me. It's like she's gonna lower my credit card bills.
Yeah.
She calls me like 4 times a day. The same voice. I don't think she gets the hint. I don't think she gets the hint.
I think she was calling Ron Senior on that one too. So. But it's important. You also have a buyer's agent, which I mentioned just a second ago, and the sole representation on that is the buyer themselves. You cannot represent fully the buyer and the seller. There would
Right.
have to be limited consensual in that sense. So
Absolutely. And I'd like to add a little story on that if you would allow me,
Yeah.
because you know the story.
Yeah.
So in a situation that was recent with me, someone I knew who I've worked with on several occasions approached me about a property, and I'm not allowed to go and do all the functions of a realtor, but I can give my opinion on a situation. So I actually reached out to Richard to find the information about this particular property. There were some questionable things on the property that we both noted and seen, and I said, look, we can research this. I said, but first, drive by the property and see if you even like the location of it.
Because time is valuable on both sides.
Exactly. So instead of us researching a property that he doesn't even know he even wants, so he drove by there, he saw it, he liked it, and decided to call the neighbor's agent
Yep.
on the property. And
Here's the interesting part, though. He didn't actually get representation. So if he would have called the original listing agent, he would have at least probably been in a limited consensual situation.
Absolutely.
But he called another agent, and they didn't even offer to represent them.
And in fact, they highlighted that they were not. That it was actually circled that there was no representation in the transaction. So just basically called and talked about putting an offer. Did not run anything did not run any comps to find out what the value of the property. Just because the property is listed at a price does not reflect the real value of it. The way that you find the real value of a property is by running the CMA, the comparable market analysis.
Yep.
And so, did not do that because there was no representation. Basically, the agent defaulted into just carrying out whatever it was that they wanted without doing any work whatsoever on it. Did not inform him in the circumstances of that, the due diligence period, the fact that this caveat emptor in the state of Alabama.
That's right.
And that actually put on there a short due diligence time frame.
So my question in that situation is, whose best interest were they looking out for?
They were looking out for, in my personal opinion on this subject matter, on this particular case, it was, I would just want to get a deal done.
That's right.
Get the deal done quick.
It was a cash deal,
Yeah,
so
cash.
it would close in 2 weeks, 10 days. And you've got to be careful about that. You want to make sure that you get representation. It doesn't have to be me. You know,
And this was one of the things that was said was that, oh, I can do this for you. It won't cost you anything.
Yep.
And that's
which is true.
Which is true.
Yeah.
But at the same time, representation
You could have
costs
gotten representation
for the same price,
which is
with
zero.
nothing.
Yep. And there's other situations where representation can cost you something. If you're an investor or you're getting a property that's not on the market and you're having somebody go out and do it, you may have to cover that commission for the representation. But I'll tell you a story about that. You know, I had a couple that we looked at tons and tons of houses, probably 30 or 40. We were kind of keeping an eye on the market, and somebody approached them because they heard they were looking and said, if you'd like to buy mine, you can come take a look, check it out. Well, they love the house. And they're great people. And they said, you know what, we've been working with Richard this long. We're going to have him be our representation on this. The original offer that they sent in, or that they were going to put in, was about $15,000 more than we actually locked in the price on. So they paid me, still save money on top of that. So that's the power of having representation, having somebody that can pull comps and knows the market, knows how to negotiate and work through things. It's not just about turning the key and opening up a door. That's the biggest thing. So where are we at on time, Don?
I think we got about 8 minutes or so.
Okay.
10?
All right, so we're gonna hit the second. We're gonna hit our second break. If you guys are looking to buy or sell a home, you can always give me a call 256-708-1511. We can help you with new builds. We can help you with buying land, building, whatever you guys are looking for. We can help you because we really believe in helping good people get to a better place. Man, I don't know.
I wonder if Christopher heard that.
I have phone calls.
There you go. Hey. Depends on. Can I call you? I'm just in a commercial break right now. I'm on the radio. I just wanted to make sure there was anything important. I'll call back. Bye. I thought maybe he heard. It's Christopher. I want to see what. We're good.
We got to get Chris Cotton on here. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Elizabeth, I'm glad you found that helpful. If you guys need any more information, you have a question, you can always put it on here. We'll answer it here, or we'll answer it on the Facebook Live show. Chris, we got to get you doing the tip of the week, so don't forget. Hey everybody, Richard Denise here with Weicker Realtors to Space Place. We are not bringing you the Coleman area weather yet. We're on our way. That's going to be next, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dominic, I think Ron, he dropped some stuff in here about the Strawberry Festival, if you want to put it out there for folks.
No, let me read it
Well,
first.
just
you
go
know?
ahead.
See, I'm like mono-minded. This is what I want to tell people.
You're
before-
killing me.
about this
So I
song.
need to just go ahead and take over the rest of the show, apparently. So
Well, you know, just kind of a quick story. I think my wife does this on purpose to me. Whenever she wants a little time to herself or whatever, so she'll say, "Hey, can you go grocery shopping for me?" And she knows that I systematically look at a list and I take it down one item at a time
Right.
down the list. So she'll start off with putting milk, which is always in the back of no matter what grocery
Yeah.
store. It's always in the back. So I have to start all the way in the back. And so I'm working my way forward and, you know, just on different things on there. So by the time I'm done with my one at a time approach, usually takes me 45 minutes. And so I get to the bottom of the list, and what do I see there is cheese. So I'm at the front of the store, so I have to go all the way back to the back just to get the cheese. And I mean, I think she gets enjoyment out of it because I think she enjoys that she's putting me on a chase and that she's mapping it out on everything. Sometimes I wonder if she's like has GPS and watching me and just snickering the whole time.
That's just her
on
way
and
of
off.
getting back at you, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
So we usually do Parker's piece on the second segment. I'm about to call these folks back, man. They're killing me. But Parker's piece, which is a local sports segment. Parker, apparently he's taking a final right now. He's trying to get everything lined up. You know, you got to get those grades right, of course. But we want to give a quick update. You know, both West Point and Coleman won in the baseball playoffs, so they're moving on. West Point actually plays Mortimer Jordan on Friday, and Coleman plays Pell City on Friday. So make sure you guys tune in on that. I think WKUL will be covering the West Point one for sure. I'm not sure about the Coleman game, but that may be somewhere else. But, you know, we want to make sure that we stay local. Well, my goodness, I might step out, Dominic. Can you take over?
Yeah, absolutely. So I didn't keep up with the local sports so much. Richard took a few notes on that. So I know a lot of you probably in the local market. I was reading, so I kind of was halfway listening to Richard through all of that right there. But I will have to say, big congratulations out to my home city. It's not really my home city, but we call it that, of New Orleans and the Pelicans on sweeping the Portland Trail Blazers in the first round. So now they'll be facing the Golden State Warriors, and I'm pretty excited for it. I'm typically, when dealing with the NBA, typically follow players, but anytime your own home team does well, it's a pretty exciting thing to do. So I'm happy to see Anthony Davis and that bunch be able to move on, and not only, you know, when no one was given a chance, that they actually went and swept the Trailblazers, who I believe was the number 3 seed in the West. So, and Richard's back, by the way.
Yeah, so, sorry about that. Apparently, 911 in Madison was getting a call from us, and they were trying to call back and check on everything. So it's good to know they're very diligent. I think I got about 11 calls over the last few minutes.
Wow, and there's another one.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with that. I'll have to call back on that one too. But somebody may be hacking into my phone. I better be careful. You know, we really believe in helping good people get to a better place. You know, with representation, we want to make sure that you get the fullest representation possible. We want you to be taken advantage of. You need to find a good agent that can help you, that can give you the information you need. You know, whether it's limited consensual dual agency, whether it's buyer agency, whether it's solely work as an agent on the seller side. There's tons of good agents here in Coleman. I've worked with a lot of them. You know, I won't name a few of them because there's too many to name, but there's people that know how to work. They know how to protect your best interest. And you can also use an attorney on the backside of that. Attorneys can help you know with the case you were talking about. Speaking with an attorney would have helped that whole situation as well.
Absolutely.
And another thing is build in contingencies, build in due diligence, because you want to make sure everything's right.
Yeah, and you want to keep in mind that you want to have a way that if something doesn't strike you right, that you have a way out. You want to make sure that you're protected in that way and in every contract, because these contracts are legally binding. This isn't play money. This isn't, you know, a play, you know, piece of paper on it all. You're legally obligated to purchase the property according to the contingencies and everything inside the contract. So you want to make sure that you have some fail-safes inside that contract to make sure that your interest is protected whenever and not having to go through, because you can be sued for specific performance. It's something that can happen. It's not a normal occasion. I'm not going to say it happens, but you are in danger if you just back out of a contract with none of the contingencies involved with it. you
Yeah.
they can sue you for a specific performance.
So I've got 911 call me, and we're just going to cut the show short. I know we've got some news to back that up. We'd love to help you guys find a home. If you're looking to sell a home, please give me a call, 256-708-1511, and thank you for tuning into the Real Estate Rundown.
I'll take it easy.